Hello, and welcome back. It's been a while since the last video in this series, and pick it back up at least for a bit. My long COVID sucks. Sometimes I just don't have the energy to return to a thing I've done for a while. It's more trying in my brain, which is just all kinds of doesn't do many tasks well. Heck, I was just having problems with forgetting how much coffee I'd had today. Because one of the things that I often do is I forget what I was doing earlier in the day. My long COVID's acting up. A lot of people might not initially. I can talk to them fine, they think, and so they think I'm fine, except I can't talk fine sometimes. I avoid the kind of things and the kinds of conversations that make my deficits with the long COVID evident. And so, I mean, I'm embarrassed about it. I hate it. And, I'd rather, anything that requires specific recall is extremely impaired with me, which makes academia impossible. Really specific. I mean, sometimes I can recall things, but not always on command. Anyways, I mean, my brain and my connections, you often keep wanting to rotate with Q and E. I don't even remember all the controls. It's been too long. Let's take a quick look at the camera controls. Map controls. That's right. Numpad zooms in and out. Weighted spacebar. Context menu is right mouse button. I'm not seeing any context menu. I right click on stuff. Could be one of those things that worked in an earlier version of the game. Okay, and the numpad plus or minus, the zoom doesn't work at all, although the mouse wheel does it. Turn this a little up my headset so I can hear it. Probably try and use. I've been taken to using DaVinci Resolve, so I should be able to precisely figure out what the right volume level is. It works much better in Microsoft Clipchamp. Probably also be chewing things into smaller pieces than in the past. Why is that the analogy, chewing, that I came up with? So I don't even remember what I was doing. Got a little bit of money. Not a lot compared to the week of wages, but if I remember correctly, wheat takes a while in this game. Let's see. Horse Archers, week of wage 15. I'm guessing I just didn't bother. Yeah. There we go. To upgrade this, or maybe, oh shoot, having more horsemen, the more one who was already gained XP in that category faster. That's why. You know what? It's not too bad. Wait to reload. Cool. That was just a waste of money. I'm trying to train people up. Wait, why shouldn't I open the inventory? Yeah, just didn't press it hard enough or something. Let's see, all these horses. So it's now October 2025. The country is very much going to hell and getting worse. Certainly than when I recorded a lot of these previous videos, which regardless when they publish, or some of them recorded a lot earlier. Throughout the West, that is Western Europe, the US, Japan, retirement ages keep getting raised. Social benefits cut. This is the system in its last gasp, unfortunately. Alright, got salt price 155. Toga's probably where I obtained it. Oh yeah, there's a tournament here. Maybe that's what it's up to. That's base price, so I probably bought it here if I were to guess, but I don't know. Looks like the dates, though. Well, here. Maybe I don't need to offload quite so much. Potteries have probably bought it cheaper somewhere. What can I buy to resell? Chicken? No. Sausage. Bread! Maybe bread. Maybe. Probably just get eaten by men, though. Wax. Dye? No. Hides? No, that's kind of expensive. Leather work. I might be able to sell this for slightly more somewhere else, but probably not worth the wait. Wool? Nope. Dried meat costs $69. If I buy that and the bread, maybe my men won't eat both. What? The bread doesn't often sell for much more than that. Or the dried meat, that's dumb. Cheese? Yep. Oh well. They have enough money to buy less, so boom. Is it the tavern? Is it Traveler, Ashester, and Mercenary Cav? Never know what you're gonna find here. Alright. Let's just tournament? No, let's do a brief bout in the arena. Just to brush up on my skills before I take on an actual tournament, because it's been a while. So I've been dealing with government bureaucracy. Oh, arrow got me. I didn't go terribly. I'll do more though. Maybe I'll get sharper. I think I've expressed this view before. Use kick, that's, yeah. It's a view, but it's substantially backed by the evidence that the real function, this is a sociological analysis, but the real function of government bureaucracy is often to obstruct people getting the resources they need. While maybe sometimes directing, at least in countries like the US, resources to politically important constituencies, but otherwise, or favored socioeconomic groups, such as middle class, because part of the real reason that's so critical in the US is because we have stuck with the two-party system, the Democrats and the Republicans, of course. Third parties never get anywhere because the system is structured winner-take-all in elections and first past the post voting. And so the Republicans tend to have a lot of support from the upper class, and the Democrats somewhat more from the lower class, especially the more educated portions, which is not an oxymoron. So a lot of people, everyone considers themselves middle class in the US. But really, properly, the only middle class would be either, middle third of the population, or in Marxist terminology, the petit bourgeois, small business owners. let's see. That's the shield key, right? Why can't I pick up that shield? Ah. That's about to break the one I got. And there we go. Whether or not you agree with anything Mark said, some of the terminology is useful describing certain things. Each aren't technically just small business owners. They can be people who hold substantial holdings in the stock market, but not nearly enough to live on. The point is that they live partly off capital gains or the labor of others, and not off their own work. In more traditional U.S. terminology, those with enough unearned income that they don't subsist solely off earned income. Which is also why so many programs measure what your unearned income is, and the thresholds can be a little weird sometimes for programs. Of course, there is a certain amount of trying to get votes to the lower class. But anyways, I'm disabled with long COVID. The Republicans have a long history of being shaded disabled people, so they're not a constituency that's considered swing votes or likely to swap parties. Therefore, the Republicans have zero interest in pandering them, nor the Democrats. Neither group figures that they're going to lose or gain their votes. At the same time, it's not a group. Alright, you can't block with daggers. That's right. Same time, it's not a group that can work, obviously. It doesn't benefit the people who really run the country, who are the billionaires. The politicians are not the ruling class, really. Although they hold the power directly, they only can use that power in ways that benefit the rich. If a politician tries to do things that hurt the rich, well, massive campaign donations against them, and if they're too popular, too often, they'll just end up assassinated. Like you had that Charlie Kirk guy assassinated. He was a right-winger, but he was starting to turn against certain country in the Near East, and he was threatened. His closest friends were all saying he was feeling threatened. And they just ends up dead? I don't know. Maybe, well, it's hard to prove any specific assassination, and that one might have just been a crazy... do we even know who did it yet? I don't know. I think someone was arrested, but it hasn't been proven in court of law, and there are problems with whether it's really the right person, which innocent until proven guilty might not be. But there's a huge tendency for those who turn against any key interest, even if they normally back what's in the interest of billionaires. I would remind people FDR was very much raised a member of the upper class, the high bourgeois in Marxist terminology, those who are so rich they can live off unearned income. FDR almost suffered a coup in the 1930s, the business plot, which some people still try and call a conspiracy theory, even though it's been proven, especially with new evidence that's come out and been exposed by historians more recently, that it really was a planned coup on FDR that was canceled because someone exposed it before it was ripe. Specifically Smelly Butler, a Marine Corps general who they tried to recruit to lead the coup, and he pretended to go along with it and then exposed the plot to the House Committee on Un-American Activities, I think it was. UAC, same people who hunted communists later. Not exactly a far left group by any means, and full of many who weren't exactly sympathetic to FDR, but he came to them, and they didn't take it seriously enough. And as a result of that, no, can't get a bow off the... It's annoying. When enemies have two weapons, you can't get their one that they're not currently equipped if you take them down. He's clearly not aiming for the other guy, but I can maybe make the arrows hit him. I always feel like Jon Snow in the Game of Thrones TV show when I hold up a shield just in time to block arrows like that. It's from, I think, the Battle of the Bastards episode, if you don't know what I'm referring to. Might not be fast enough to get away this way. I'm going to go without a shield. I'd rather have a two-handed sword. I think there are 1-2-hand mix hybrid swords in this game. That's a broken shield, is probably what it is. Yep. The more I take down, the more money I get. Anyways, FDR was not removed from office by a coup and didn't threaten the interests of the very rich nearly as much as some of the business plot people feared he would. So they didn't try again. Not to mention they were embarrassed by it and under surveillance by the government in case they try anything more like that. But it almost happened. Ah, okay, snuck up behind me. And that's often a tendency for people to be removed by coups or assassinated if they threaten the interests of the very rich. Here we go. There's a feast at the castle I could probably stop by. Maybe? Maybe not a feast here yet. I don't know. Anything I can do? Yep. Yeah, I have to deliver a message. Taking Harless. Swedia. Massimo data deliver Nord Footman. Let's count. Still need to bring those taxes to the mirror and rescue a prisoner. Assuming these ones expire before I get to do them, because wars often do. So, it's not like I'll win, but it's not truly gambling when you have some real ability to influence things. Ah, darn it. Not as practiced at horse archery as I was, you know, in the past. I was once very, very capable at this. It's been a while. It's one of those fine skills that requires a ton of practice. Really? Horse? To get in my way? Oh, that's a friendly. Good thing. Hit. So hard to tell. If I can take this guy out while he's wielding his bow. Oh, should be able to collect arrows off the... Maybe. Game hates doing. Picking up arrows. Cool. Of course, the menace to horse archers is always foot archers. Typically because they're more accurate and often better protected. Although there's no real armor in the tournament, so... Although Iron Flesh ratings, and you may actually be considered to have a little armor, so... Looks like the yellow team is just totally wiped out. Everything else. It's unlikely I can win here. Try. At least it's experience. Which is half the reason for these tournaments, anyways, to participate. It's nice if you can win, but even if you can't... Gain experience with the weapons. Wonder how my team got stomped so bad. Chavaneer is even worse because he has shield. Got some experience. So the sociological thing I was talking about before is implicit versus explicit functions of any government body or organization. That is, they're often not the same thing. The stated reason something exists and what it really serves to do. And there we go. We're often different. You've been best in this melee at the Master of Ceremonies. Declare some recognition of your skill and bravery. Because, you know, I was the last one standing. I probably took quite a bit of damage. Alright, next round. Sorry, cough there. Whoa. Somehow I accidentally... Give me a sec. Alright, well, all that was for naught, I guess. Right back to the save from before, because, well, game isn't gonna just restore anything. I should have saved before I started the tournament. You never know when something's gonna bug out and do this nonsense. Right. Sell this stuff. This guess this is a good time to just end this, so I don't even have to cut it. Wish you all the best. Take care of each other. Be kind yourselves, and may always find a gangster lead home. Till next time, it's Northstar. And best luck to you all.